The season has been building to this with visits to Shanghai, the beach in Antalya, Salt Lake City and Berlin, and now it's the final. Welcome to Samsun. Stage winners Sara Lopez, Sophie Dodemont and Turkey's very own Yesim Boston qualified automatically, joined by ranking qualifiers Chen Yixuan, Linda Ochoa Anderson, Sochai Wan and Marcella Tonioli. Turkey's host nation spot went to Gezim Alma Ashley. So now it's time to find out who will be crowned the 2018 Hyundai Archery World Cup Compound Women's Champion. And here we are on this beautiful field of play on a beautiful day in this Black Sea port town of Samsun in Turkey. Not a cloud in the sky. The conditions here are pretty favourable. There's a little breeze going on, but the temperature has risen since the last couple of days. It's up to 21 degrees, pretty warm, and the light is looking pretty good on the range. We're set in this little coastal village, and I'm Karim Bashir, and joining me, international archer from Holland, Chef van den Berg. A beautiful field of play.
A very beautiful field of play. I think it's a really good field, and it's very open, so the archers will have to cope with the conditions.
Yeah, open conditions in both ways in terms of the weather and also the field. And here is our lineup. We start straight away with knockout rounds of quarterfinals, 4 of them in a row, and then we'll move straight on to the 2 semi-finals before we decide who the medalists are in our first session on compound Saturday here in Turkey. So coming up first, a very interesting quarterfinal. Sophie Dodemont of France is ranked number 2, automatically went into the draw, and she's up against the number 3 seed, Linda Ochoa Anderson, who was drawn randomly just a couple of days ago. Chef, an interesting lineup, the number 2 and 3 seeds going up against each other in a quarterfinal.
Yeah, that's what happens if we get a draw. The system has changed slightly, so we have a draw now, and you can see in the brackets that there's a lot of good matches because of that draw.
Yeah, we have the full lineup of quarterfinals right there. So and Boston, Chen and Tonioli, Dodemont and Anderson at the bottom, and the host nation spot, Alma Ashley and Sara Lopez will come up last. And it's a very interesting first quarter-final, as I said, between the number 2 and 3 seeds. But interestingly, Ochoa Anderson faced Dodemont in Salt Lake City in the semi-finals, and she beat her. But enough of that. The athletes are ready to come out onto the field of play. Let's welcome then to the first action here in Samsun.
Buraya Samsun'un mükemmel manzarasına davet edildiler. Ev sahibi ülkenin sporcularının da dahil olması ile 8 kişilik liste tamamlanmış ve şampiyonluk mücadelesi verecek sporcular belirlenmiş oldu.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the athletes to the field for the compound women's quarter-final match 1.
Bayanlar baylar, makara ve yay bayanlar çeyrek finali yapacak sporcuları sahaya davet ediyoruz.
On target 1, representing France,
1 numaralı hedef Fransa'dan
Sophie Dodemont. And her competitor on target 2, representing Mexico,
rakibi 2 numaralı hedef Meksika'dan
Linda Ochoa Anderson. The line judge for this match is
maçın çizgi hakemi
Alexandre Vecchio Passerini. Target 1 shoots first.
1 numaralı hedef ilk oku atacak.
Attention archers. Dodemont, you were shooting first. Ochoa, you were shooting second. Target 1 shooting first. Range is clear. Begin match.
So here we go. Sophie Daudemont of France on target 1 will shoot first. Sara Anderson from Mexico on target 2 will shoot second. Let's start the action here at the Hyundai Archery World Cup Finals of 2018. Good start from the French archer.
The archer in me is happy to see that the World Cup final starts with a 10.
Bit of a longer hold there for Daudemont. A possible 30 is the score in each end of the compound discipline.
Interestingly, the flags around the field are waving pretty heavily, but the archers don't seem to be bothered by the wind.
Oh, that's a lovely shot there. Well, all level pegging after the first end. So a possible 30 is the target score for the archers in each end. And they both scored at 29, so just dropping a single point each. And this is an accumulative score, right, Chef?
Yeah, which means that we'll have 5 ends of 3 arrows as opposed to the set system in recurve. So now we'll shoot 5 ends with a maximum score of 150 points. With a tie score, you'll end up doing a shoot-off.
Well, here we see them starting their first arrows from Daudemont and Sara Anderson, looking pretty good there at 10.
We have a tie. Daudemont, you were shooting first. Ochoa, you were shooting second.
So as the judge said, there's a tie, 29-29, which means that Daudemont will start the shooting again because she started the shooting in the first end of the match as well. This would switch if
Target 1 is shooting first.
If Daudemont would lead, and so Linda
Range is
Ochoa
clear.
would trail, that would mean that Ochoa had to shoot first to put the pressure on Sophie Daudemont.
So the trailing archer always goes first,
Yeah.
but Daudemont shot first in the first end, and with the scores tied, she'll shoot first again.
Seems like it's just over. So as you said before, they squared off in Salt Lake already in the semi-finals of the World Cup. So they have some history this year. Linda Ochoa won that match with 1 point difference, but anything can happen at a big stage like this.
With the random draw, it does mean that just the top 2 seeds go automatically into the bracket, top and bottom. And it does mean that you can get some tasty matchups in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, definitely. So what the draw means is that pretty much the number 1 and 2 can only meet each other in the final. That's what the draw does with the system they implemented now.
Well, unless they lose the semi-final.
Unless they use the semi-final.
And
but
then they can meet in the bronze medal match.
Yeah.
Well, great shooting again from Sara Anderson, but Daudemont's second arrow is going to go for a measure. To me, it looks like it is just touching the 9-10 ring, so it should be marked up to a 10, but we will have the judge down at the target having a look at that. Well, here are the arrows from their first two ends.
Yeah, not much between them. The groups are pretty similar in size. You can see that Linda's group is just slightly smaller, but
Okay, results
not
confirmed.
much of a difference here.
Ochoa is leading 58-57. So Dodemon, you're shooting first. Ochoa, you're shooting second. Okay?
By my reckoning, Dodemon's second arrow there was marked up to a 10.
Target 1 is shooting first. Range is clear. Shoot.
So we begin at the third end here, and Dodemont trailing by a single point will shoot first again.
So this might be my OCD, but the finger sling of the Sophie Dodemont was hanging on the other side of the stabilizer the previous end. So now it sort of fell over the other side of the stabilizer. I wonder if she notices it and if it would bother her if she knew. But it's the first thing that pops up in my head if I see it, like, hey, that's different than previous end. Whereas, well, archery is a sport where you have to do the same thing every time, and yeah, it probably doesn't bother her, but it's just something that I noticed.
And that is an awfully good spot there, Chef. And you have to say that Achara Anderson is shooting very well, so anything Dodemont can do to improve her shooting, which is also pretty good,
Yeah,
is going to be needed.
that looks like it just got the line.
Yeah, another great shot there. It is going for a measure though, but for us here, it looks like that should be marked up to a 10 and
Okay,
a perfect
thank you.
30 for Ochoa Anderson. So potentially extending her lead here, subject to the measure.
The coaches in the boxes are both, I'm not sure if Sebastian is still an active archer, but he used to be in the French team, so he has some experience in shooting at a finals venue like this.
And we have confirmed the first 30 points of the day by Linda Ochoa Anderson.
İlk 30 puan geliyor.
And then,
Well, there you
Okay,
go, Chef.
results are
You were saying
confirmed.
about the,
yeah, so there's the finger sling, and it's hanging on the left side of the stabilizer, and then now it's hanging on the right side. So maybe I'm just looking for stuff right now, but for me it was odd to see that she would not have that in the same place.
So target 1 is shooting first. Range is clear. Start the match. Shoot.
Well, we did get confirmation that Ochoa Anderson did score a perfect 30 in the third end and is leading. So Dodemont will shoot first again, and this time, which side is the?
It's on the left side. Maybe she heard me.
Well, a much needed 10.
It's a 9.
Very good.
No man overboard. She still have a 2-point gap.
Bravo,
And a
Sophie,
great
superbe.
shot there. Grouping's all important in archery.
C'est du beau tir à l'arc.
Those first two arrows from Dodemont very close to each other.
So as you say, grouping is important, and most of the arrows of Linda Ochoa, the middle of the group of the arrows is a bit right and high. So maybe it's time for her to adjust her sight a little bit so the group is actually in the middle.
Ouais, c'est bon.
Yeah, looks like it's a... So Sophie did everything she could to at least make the gap smaller, and Ochoa can make this a 1-point lead if she gets it in the middle. which she does.
Well, good reply from the French archer there. Her first perfect 30 here in N4, much needed, as Chef says, and she's closed the gap by 1 point. She looks fairly comfortable.
Well, she is really experienced. And she has been to the Olympics with the recurve bow, and she switched to compound shooting, and I think that will help her. Just general experience and how to handle nerves.
Well, here are the 3 10s from that end for Dodemont. Just the third one going a little bit left, but clinging on to that 9-10 ring.
Alex to Hannah, we don't have a red flag on target 2, on top of target 2.
The two of the 10s were X's there.
Okay,
We just heard the judge
so
saying that
Ochoa, you are leading the match.
there's no red flag on top of the target.
Dodemont, you're shooting
second
first.
target.
Ochoa, you're shooting second.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a little flag on top of the target,
One is
so
shooting
you can
first.
judge the wind a little bit. If you're,
Range is clear.
Maybe if you're during your
Shoot.
shot, if you're looking at the target, or before you start shooting, and it appears to have blown away.
Well, we come into the crucial 5th end. Ochoa Anderson leading, so Dodemont will shoot first again. Good start, crucial here for the French archer.
Ouais, joli Sophie.
So trailing by 1 point with 3 arrows to go is not a super bad vantage point or a super bad point to start with, because you can put the pressure on your opponent and because you start off. It doesn't seem to phase Linda too much though.
Allez Sophie, bien focus sur la cible. 10.
9,
Juste en dessous à gauche.
Judging by the shot, she knew that I was going to go left and low because she tried to correct it a bit with her left hand.
So it's all come down to the final arrow
Allez, ça va au
here.
bout, bien solide.
Ochoa Anderson just has to match whatever Dodemont does, and she progresses to the semi-final. And a 9 means she can, in fact, improve her lead here. So this is it.
Just barely, but it's enough.
Right on the 8-9 ring. That's possibly the furthest arrow from the centre, from the spider that we've seen in the first quarter-final, but it was enough to take the victory. And Ochoa Anderson will progress, but what stunningly good archery there in that first quarter-final.
Yeah, that was a good starting point. 143, 144. I think we're going to have some good scores today.
C'était dur pour vous deux, je pense. Allez. Ouais, ils sont pas loin.
Well, we get confirmation here of the victory for Linda Ochoa Anderson, 144 to 143, and Dodemont, the second seed, has fallen at the very first stage. Chef, the quality of that match was quite incredible. If the conditions stay like this, are we expecting that from all of the matches here?
Yeah, I don't see a reason to go out of the cold with a compound bow at this moment, but
well, we see some of the beautiful shooting here in the clear conditions. That is one of the best shots, I think, in archery world. Seeing the arrow go down the 50-meter range.
yeah,
That one looked like
Good
it
skill.
plugged the 10.
good skill of the cameraman as well to catch it and to focus it at the same time.
But that was the final arrow. But Ochoa Anderson shrugs her shoulders as she goes through to the semi-finals. So we move straight on to the second quarter-final, and we will see Chen Yixuan of Chinese Taipei going up against Marcella Tonioli, the world number 5 seed, going up against the world number 7 And we see down at the bottom of our brackets that Ochoa Anderson was confirmed as the winner of the first quarter-final. So the winner of this one will face the Mexican in the semi-finals. And without further ado, let's welcome the athletes here to the field of play in Samsun.
Compound women's quarterfinal match number 2.
Bayanlar baylar, makaralı yay bayanlar çeyrek finalinin ikinci maçında yarışacak sporcuları sahaya davet ediyoruz.
On target 1 representing Chinese Taipei,
Bir numaralı hedef Çin Taipei'den
Chen Yuswan. And her competitor on target 2 representing Italy,
rakibi 2 numaralı hedeften İtalya'dan
Marcella Tognoli. The line judge for this match is
maçın çizgi hakemi
Alexandra Vecchio Passerini.
Okay. Chen, you were shooting first. Tognoli, you're shooting second. Okay.
Target number 1 will shoot first.
Target 1 is shooting first. Range is clear. Start the match.
Well, no mucking around here. We're straight into the second quarter-final, and these matches are going to come at you thick and fast today. Chen Yuswan of Chinese Taipei will shoot first as she goes up against Marcella Tognoli.
And this should be an interesting match, as they have, according to World Archery website, they have the exact same arrow average of 9.52.
Yeah, good start.
Well, that's a
Nice one, Yuswan.
really good start from Chen, laying down a marker early doors here.
Both archers have quite a dynamic, aggressive style of shooting. So it's really fun to watch if it's up to me. You can see that the bow really jumps as they shoot. She wasn't happy with that one. Went off a bit to the left. You could see that she corrected it to the right. Sometimes you have to give it a bit of a wiggle to get it in the middle. Seems like it just got blank.
Oh, so
Hold on to that one a little bit longer.
Yeah, there was definitely some wind on her bow there. You could see that it was going from left to right, and
really,
she tried to get it off at the right moment. But
we're okay. We're okay.
Well, great grouping there from
Try not to let your focus
leads by
be too much.
1.
Okay. I want that feel
You mentioned the
more
wind there,
for
Chef.
yeah,
It's been
Okay.
fairly calm here today, but it does
Don't
feel
have to go
like
so
it's
long.
just slightly picked
Normally
up.
you should
yeah, it is slightly picking up.
good power. Focus on you.
The arrow there from Chen to start things off, and Tognoli's response.
So I've been looking down the field, and in the beginning you could see only the high flags were waving, and now if you look at the little plants that are on the venue, they're also moving a bit because of the wind, so that the wind has surfaced a bit.
You shoot first. Tognoli, you shoot second. Target 1 is shooting first. Range is clear. Shoot.
Well, we go into the second end, Chef. We were here yesterday, and we were setting things up here, but the athletes got a chance for what they call familiarization, and the shooting was quite spectacular.
Yeah, some of the archers wrecked a couple of knocks on the field yesterday, just by having a couple arrows of practice.
It's high. Still high.
And it is interesting here for this Hyundai Archery World Cup final, there's not the usual qualification process, so you don't sort of warm yourself into the venue or the conditions. I mean, there is a practice field next to the finals range. Is that difficult for the athletes to contend with?
Too long.
Yeah, normally you get a qualification round
and just go.
You start off with a 148, a 124th, a 116th, and so on. Now you start in the quarterfinals and you don't have anything to warm up for that, so that is a bit of a difference.
We're still in it. Come on, let's go.
Well, she didn't look happy with that one, Tonioli, and it's fallen into the 8.
Yeah, almost exactly the same spot as the 8, the Chen shot. So
That's more like it. Much better. Yeah? Much better. Can't be weak. Okay. Come up there.
27.
First two. Not pretty.
They both shot 27, not bad at all, but it does mean that Tonioli leads by that single point. If anything, it looks like either the wind is playing its part here now, or they're starting to feel the tension.
yeah, the wind has definitely picked up since the first match, but I'm guessing there's also an aspect of nerves. I think if you would put them on this field with this wind in a practice situation, they would probably not have shot that 8. You can see the wiggle in the bow. There was definitely some struggle in that shot.
Tonioli leading 56,
Yeah, you can tell
55.
by the
So
reaction
Chen,
on
you
my
were shooting
face
first.
there.
Tonioli, you're shooting second. You have your arrows?
It's the first time both archers meet in a final or elimination match. So
Ready?
who will be the winner?
Ready? So target 1 is shooting first. Range is clear. Shoot.
Well,
This
the
was
range
a-
has been declared clear for the third end here of the quarterfinals here in the compound women's individual event here at the Hyundai Archery World Cup final in Samsun. And Chen, trailing by a single point, will shoot first.
This was a good example of why you don't stop trying if you shoot a bad arrow, because Chen shot an 8 and then she was visibly disappointed with the 8. And then Marcella shot an 8 as well, and then her coach was saying,
You can do it.
it's not over yet, you're still in this. So it's good to keep that mindset.
Well, they both fixed whatever went wrong in that previous end, starting very well.
Another 8, but
Milba.
she knew it when the shot went off that it would go low. She tried to throw her bow up again. So a very aggressive style of shooting. And that's not far in the gold as well, or either. Interesting to see, you can see the pinky finger on the release hand is moving in. So instead of pressing the button with her thumb, she tries to
Right side
push the
9.
release into her thumb with the rest of her hand.
Okay.
So I think that's the proper way to use a thumb release, a trigger release.
Well, Chen Yixuan has trailed from the off here.
Right.
Tonioli
Anchor check.
has just
And then
opened
when
the
you're here,
gap. As we look at
Okay, that's the only two.
Falco Eye and all of the arrows shot so far.
Yeah, you can see that Tonioli's group is a little bit tighter.
Those are the red dots. you
Yeah,
see
the
on
red
screen.
dots, yeah. So the Chen's group is just, like, she doesn't have one side that she goes to when she shoots a bad arrow. The arrows are just a bit everywhere, so she'll just try to shoot better from now on.
Yeah, she certainly has had the closest arrows to the centre of the target, but
Yeah.
the spread, as you say, is a bit wider.
Hi,
The coach giving
This is
her
good test,
some comfort.
right? You know this test. You've done this test. Let's do it again. Yeah? We're going to shoot first. Still close. Still really close. 6 shots. Let's do it.
Attention archers, the results are confirmed. Tonioli leading 84-82. So Chen, you were shooting first. Tonioli, you're shooting second. Target 1 shooting first. Range is clear. Shoot.
So, with Chen trailing by 2 points now,
Fran.
it's Tonioli who is leading, and Chen will shoot first.
bit more
That's
stable.
more
there you
like
go.
it.
There was a lot less movement in her shot compared to the other worse arrows that we've seen.
Put in the middle and go.
And that's probably the best advice you can give as a coach. Just put it in the middle and go.
Just out.
Mantieni i tempi. Sì, così. Brava. Così.
5 seconds. Nice.
Great shooting from Chen, but we've said before, shooting first, you can sometimes apply the pressure and put your opponent under pressure. Tonioli, though, throughout this match, just seems to deal with it and cope with it.
Yeah, except for that 8 that she shot, that was really wobbly, and you can see a lot of movement in the shot. But for the rest, she's just been shooting, really good arrows.
So Chen has closed the gap by 1 here, and we have 1 more end left. So obviously if she can do the same thing again, we will go into a tiebreaker with the scores.
We're going to go first again no matter what. I want the same thing.
Shooting second has managed to deal with any pressure that this athlete from Chinese Taipei has put on her. Even when she shot a 10, Tonioli seems to come back at her with another 10.
Well, you don't want to forget that Tonioli has won the World Cup final already once. So, I would say she's experienced in this sort of competition.
Yeah, she won in Dens in 2016.
Last test, let's do this. 3 the same.
So let's cheer for
Well,
Picked up a bronze medal in Berlin this year as well.
Yeah, stay up. All 3.
Target 1,
But
shooting
Chen
first.
Got a silver in Shanghai right back at the beginning of the season. It's all on the line again here in the second quarter-final. All to play for. Chen Yixuan of Chinese Taipei, trailing by a single point, will shoot first.
Just out. Keep that same power.
No. 9 appena fuori.
Just doing enough there.
It almost seems as if Tonioli is teasing Chen a bit and just keeping that 1 point difference throughout the match. I'm sure she isn't, but it almost seems like it.
Well, right on the 9-10 line.
That same power.
Important arrow for the Italian.
Sì, così, bravissimo.
Finish it. Finish it strong.
So, as I said before, Tonioli won the World Cup final before, and that was, I think that was in the match that Sara Lopez had to shoot against her, and that would have been the first host archer to win the World Cup final. And that didn't happen, but we're going to get another chance of that this afternoon as we have 2 Turkish archers.
Well, throughout this match, Tonioli has done enough throughout, always shooting second and always matching Chen's previous arrow, taking the lead early on. She extended it by a single point. Chen fought back in the 4th end, but Tonioli did enough in the end to progress, and she will go on to face Linda Ochoa Anderson in the semi-finals.
Can I go? Please.
We will see her later. Congratulations also to the archer.
Well, Chen looks a bit of a deflated figure.
There's a lot of Turkish fans that are ready for the next individual match.
Well, they're looking for what you were just mentioning, Chef, the first host nation winner as we look back on the second quarter-final. Aggressive archery from both athletes, but it was this lady, Marcella Tonioli,
That's more like
who
it.
did enough to get through, but again, remarkably
That's
high
more.
value shooting here in
5
Samsun.
seconds. Nice.
So we move on to our third quarter-final, and it's time for the crowd to go wild here as we welcome our very first Turkish athlete out onto the field of play. Here we get a confirmation of the bottom half of the draw. Tonioli beating Chen, and Linda Ochoa Anderson of Mexico taking out Sophie Dodemont of France. Those two are through to the semi-finals. We move up to the top of the bracket, and we start with So Chai Wen and Yesim Boston. There they are. So let's welcome them out onto the field of play here in Samsun.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the athletes to the field for the compound women's quarter-final match 3.
Bayanlar baylar, makaralı yay bayanlar çeyrek finalinin 3. maçında yarışacak sporcularımızı sahaya davet ediyoruz.
On target number 1, representing the Republic of Korea,
1 numaralı hedef Kore'den
So Chae-won. And her competitor on target 2, representing Turkey,
rakibi 2 numaralı hedef Türkiye'den
Yesim Bostan. The line judge for this match is
maçın çizgi hakemi
Alexandre Vecchio Passerini.
Target 2 is shooting first. Target 2 is shooting first. Okay, archers. Boston, you're shooting first. So, you're shooting second. Target 2 is shooting first. Range is clear. Begin the match.
Well, here we go. Yesim Boston has the crowd right behind her. She qualified for these finals by winning one of the stages. In fact, it was here in Turkey, on the other side of the country in Antalya. So Chai-won came through as a ranking qualifier. A great start. And that will get the crowd noisy right from the start, Chef.
Yeah, and I did not see a single look of doubt on that face of Yesim Bostan. She's really here to get a medal, I think. I did, however, walk around on the practice field yesterday, and the girl from Korea, So Chai-won, she was shooting, and she just she looked right through the people. She was just minding her own business, and I was really impressed by how focused she was shooting. Incredible grouping, just not inside the 10 ring.
Wow, a brilliant start from Yesim Boston. She's looking very happy indeed with herself, and so she should.
That one is a bit off, but she isn't too faced with it, or about it. She just walks back to her coach with a big smile on her face, so it seems like she's just enjoying herself.
Well, different athletes cope with the conditions in different ways. I mean, certainly there you see Yesim Boston looking pretty calm, cool and collected herself, afforded herself a little smile, and like you say, Chef, she's looking determined And it's a great start from her with a perfect 30. And better than that, some of those arrows were pretty close to dead center of the target.
Yeah, definitely. And it seemed even as if she wasn't too happy with how the last shot went off. So that still hit a 10. So that tells something about her current
Target
form.
1 is shooting first. Range is clear. Shoot.
Well, this is the third of the quarter-finals, and it's the first time we've seen one athlete take a, I'm not going to say commanding lead, but certainly more than a 1-point lead.
Yeah.
After the first end. So Chai Wan, trailing by 3, will shoot first.
There you go. I suspect that she's found the middle now and won't go too far from it. So if you listen closely to the audience, you can hear that when she's aiming, the kids in the audience are cheering her on even. Those exact kids.
Oh, that is an exceptional response from So Chai Wan.
I wonder if she's going to give her side a couple clicks because they were all three a tad low.
And would you look at that?
And then So Wan made the same in the second end. At the end, at the moment, we're applied for and wait for official confirmation.
So we look at those arrows from So Chai Wan. Those 3 right near the center were all in that second end.
Yeah, so she could give her side maybe 2 clicks to the left and 2 clicks to the bottom, but I'm guessing it's fine like this. If she keeps shooting them like that, they will hit the middle anyway.
We talked about the pressure that can be applied by the athlete shooting first. We didn't see it in the last quarterfinal, but certainly shooting so well and so consistently seemed to affect Yesim Boston there.
Yeah, it's either that or just the general pressure that's on her because she's shooting in front of a home crowd and she's the #1 of the world. Obviously you want to show why you're the #1 of the world to your home crowd, so there might be a little bit of extra aspect of pressure here.
Well, we go back to Boston shooting first as So leveled things up in the second end.
So she has a pretty good group. It's just still a bit low and a bit left, but I'm guessing I don't have to tell her that. That's just out. What I saw on the practice field with So Chai Wan is that she could pretty much knock her arrow and put her release on the string without looking and in one smooth movement. So that was really cool. I suspect that she shoots a lot of arrows a day if she does that so smoothly and without looking.
Yeah, well, she does look very comfortable here. She trailed by 3 after the first end, leveled things up in the second, has now taken the lead, and we get a comparison of both of the archers' arrows so far. Boston in the red, and so with the yellow.
Yeah, there's not much between them, but there's not much between them in scores either. So you can. What's interesting to see is that they're both to the left, and it might have something to do with the wind, but it's difficult for me to say since I'm in a sort of a sheltered position.
Well, we see the 2 closest arrows from both of the archers there, and let me just tell you that's 0.48 of a centimetre at 50 metres.
Target 2 is shooting
Incredible.
first. Range is clear. Shoot.
So Boston will shoot first here in the 4th end, but this time not because of the selection at the beginning, but because she is trailing. She started so well, put the pressure on, but the Korean has fought back hard.
It's her turn to put the pressure back on the Korean. So still within her group. It's just still that her group is not exactly centered, so there might actually be a little bit of wind, because I cannot imagine that she doesn't react to this.
After shooting a near perfect shot on the first arrow, Boston has opened the door again.
It's a great shot, especially since the wind has picked up during that shot a bit.
Well, you saw the grimace on her face there, and that one's dropped into the 8 as well. A big opportunity for the Korean now. Oh, and she is taking it. Look at that, leading by 4 after 4 ends. We have 3 arrows from each archer left to go in this match. Trading by 4, Chef?
It's, I would say, difficult for Yassine to still win this match unless So makes a really big mistake, or multiple big mistakes actually, because the chances of getting more than 1 point back per arrow are really small.
And look at how calm and stable she is. And you could see the reaction there from Boston. She looked so calm herself right at the beginning, and so determined, as you said, Chef.
Yeah, there was a strong contrast in her facial expression after the shot.
Last 3 arrows.
And make some noise for
Target 2 is shooting first. Range is clear. Shoot.
Well, the crowd are really trying to gee Yassine Boston up. She has 3 arrows to keep her place in the draw here in Samsun on home soil. But she's trailing by 4, and really she needs to shoot well, and she needs to hope that So makes mistakes.
And that's step 1. That's the first arrow on the right side of the target for her actually.
Well, the response has been brilliant from So here.
Yeah, if you look at the target, you don't see many mistakes on that target. You see a couple of 9s, but the group is just really good.
10.
Another 10 from Boston, so she has done something to correct the mistake she made in the previous end. But the response from the Korean has been phenomenal. And again, it's almost like she's getting closer to the center of the target.
Yeah, I feel like she's feeling more and more at home at this finals venue.
perfect finish for Boston. That's what she needed. But as you can see, a 6 will be enough for So to draw level, a 7 to win, and she hasn't shot anything less than a 9 here. Oh, and it's a perfect score from So Chai-won, trailing by 3 after the first end. She fought back, she took the lead, and then she pulled away. And in the end, a couple of 8s from Yeshin Boston in the 4th end. Well, they played a big part in the comfort of So Chai-won's win.
So Chai-won lost 3 points in her first end, and then only lost 2 points in the remaining 4 ends. So she really stepped up her game, and it was interesting in the windy conditions to see that she was doing so well. I think if I would have a hat on, I would take it off for her.
Well, there we go. Confirmation there that So Chai-won progresses on to the semi-finals here. The busy crowd full of Turkish athletes will not be going far though. They have lost Boston here today. And we see here the determination on Boston's face was there for all to see. She looked like she was here to bring her A game, but she came up against this incredibly determined and very concentrated Korean So Chai-won. And the consistency of the shooting from So Chai-won was absolutely spectacular. And it just took a couple of mistakes from Yeshin Boston to open the door. And So Chai-won walked straight through it and straight into the semi-finals. So 3 down, 1 to go. We've got one more semi-final in the compound women's event here in Samsun. And the crowd will be noisy again because it will be Gezim Alma-Ashley, the host nation spot, or the pick from the host nation into the draw, and she goes up against the world #1 ranked athlete Sara Lopez from Colombia. So there they are, waiting to come out. Let's welcome them here to Samsun.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the athletes to the field for the compound women's quarterfinal match 4.
Bayanlar baylar, makaralı yay bayanlar çeyrek finalinin 4. maçında yarışacak sporcuları sahaya davet ediyoruz.
On target 1, representing Turkey,
1 numaralı hedef Türkiye'den
Gizem Elmaçlı. And her competitor on target 2, representing Colombia,
rakibi 2 numaralı hedef Kolombiya'dan
Sara Lopez. The line judge for this match
maçın
is
çizgi hakemi
Alexandre Vecchio Passerini.
Lopez, you were shooting first, and actually you were shooting second. Target 2 is shooting first, range is clear. Begin the match.
So the #1 seed, Sara Lopez from Colombia, on target 2 will shoot first. And you got to say that she probably is the neutral's favourite here for gold in Samsun.
But you have to imagine that the pressure must be immense on Sarah's shoulder. She has been unbeaten in 2018, as I've heard. She is she has the highest percentage of match wins out of everyone on the field. So,
well, let's not forget about her opponent, Alma-Ashley, who just shot a 10.
yeah. So we find ourselves in a situation where Alma-Ashley can pretty much only win this match, because if she loses, it's like she lost against one of the best archers historically ever. And if she wins, she is pretty much invincible for the rest of this competition because she won against one of the best archers ever. So I think there's a lot of pressure on both archers.
Well, like I say, different kinds of pressure, but they come through the first end at 28 out of a possible 30. And look, just to put some context to how good Sara Lopez is, she only did 2 of the stages of the Hyundai Archery World Cup this year, and she won both of them, Shanghai and Salt Lake City. We look at a comparison of the arrows in that first end.
Yeah, you can see that Sara Lopez's group is a lot tighter. She went off a bit to the left, which is the same as we've seen in the previous match, but Alma Hartley has her arrows pretty much straight down the middle. So.
Yeah, no, like you say, nerves settled, and
Target 2 is shooting first.
Out of the way of this important match here.
Range is clear.
If anything, the pressure perhaps continues to grow on the Colombian, who will shoot first again in the second end of this quarter-final.
Impressive shooting by both archers. I think Sara will feel like she needs to win this match, and Alma Hartley has the burning eyes of the whole audience on her back, because the whole stage is full of Turkish people right now.
Haydi güzel. Aferin.
Looks like it's just out.
Well, it's going to go to a measure, and Sara Lopez has shot a 29, so she's getting better. Alma Hartley has gone in the opposite direction, shooting a 27. Not bad, but is subject to confirmation.
Judges determining now the arrow value.
Well, look at the calmness there. That first shot of the second end, a 10, and matched by Alma Hartley.
Okay, results are confirmed.
You can always see with Sara when she's
is leading 57-55. Okay, you're shooting first, you're shooting second. Target 1 shooting first. Range is clear. Shoot.
You can see when Sara is nervous, but you can also see that she doesn't really mind it. It's more like she enjoys it, and she really lives for this pressure, I think. And yeah, she's pretty much like a fish in the water, but like a really nervous fish in water.
Aynı yerde.
Contacto y línea. Bien, bien.
Well, she shot a few arrows over on that side of the 9.
Yeah, we've seen that in the previous match, so I'm guessing there's something going on the field that we don't really notice since we're in a sheltered place.
Bien, bien.
Well, she's corrected that. That's very, very close to the dead center of the target. But this 20-year-old Turkish athlete seems to be thriving in the conditions just as much as her opponent.
Yeah, it seems like she's enjoying the attention and the encouragement of the audience behind her, as one should, I think.
But look at that, from Lopez opening up another point in her lead. A smile on the face from Gezim Almashi. But Lopez, well, you said she looked nervy. She still does, to be fair.
A little bit, but you can see that the nerves are settling down a bit now that the match is progressing and she is slowly building a lead. And her height is impeccable. If you would just scooch those 4-9s over to the right a bit, her group would be amazing. But now she has a couple arrows on the left, which we've seen more today.
And look at that.
Yeah, that doesn't really get better. I mean, the difference between this or shooting it absolutely dead center is impossible to feel as an archer. So this will have felt like a perfect shot, I think.
Shoot!
Well, the Turkish athlete trailing now by 3 points as we go into the final 6 arrows.
It's not impossible, but she'll have to bring her A game against the world #2 and the #1 ranked archer of this tournament. So from an archer standpoint, I think Sara's coach is telling her it's looking good while she's aiming, which is a bit weird to me. Normally you coach before and after the shot, and he's also coaching during the shot, which is something you don't always see. So I wonder how he judges the shot. Like, how does he know it's a good shot? How does he know it's not a good shot? And does he also tell it when she needs to do something differently?
Well, 2 great arrows from Ashley there to finish the 4th end for her. But a perfect score from Sara Lopez. Some might say it's taken her a little while to warm it into this competition, but she's certainly looking like the #1 seed now, leading by 4 as we go into the final end. And it looks like Sara Lopez, nervy though she may look, is in good condition at the moment.
Yeah, but it's also something that you see in pretty much any final that she'll shoot. I think she's nervous, but also it helps her focus a bit when she has those nerves a little. So it's not a bad thing for her to be a little nervous.
Well, look at how stable she looks when she shoots. Focused and calm. And look at that. That is an exceptionally close grouping.
Range is clear. Shoot.
So another one of those good ends, and Izem will walk away from this match with yeah, good feeling, I think. And so there you go. Of course, there's a chance that Sara makes a mistake, but it's a very, very small chance.
Bien, bien, bien. Muy bien, igualito.
Wow, look at that again, an X.
Just out. So not a bad shot, but a bit unlucky with where it landed. So still, all of her arrows would have fit in the 10 ring height-wise. She didn't shoot any high or low arrows.
Well, apart from that one stray 8, Gezim actually has given herself a good outing here and shown the crowd what she can do. But Sara Lopez finishes with another perfect score of 30. We do have 2 of the arrows from the Turkish athletes subject to a measure, but as things stand, it's a 6-point win for Sara Lopez. And what a marker she's put down to the rest of the field here in Samsun. But hats off to Gezim Almagasli, who is just 20 years old and did herself proud here.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think she has anything to be ashamed of, and she'll walk away after shooting a really good match. 141 in a World Cup final in windy conditions is a good score.
Against number 1 seed.
Against the number 1 seed and arguably one of the best archers that ever walked the planet. So
yeah, well done to Gezim Al-Mahli. A good performance, but Sara Lopez, well, I'm sure the rest of the athletes who've made the semi-finals would have been watching that, and that certainly was a very, very good performance, a good start for the Colombian.
Sara Lopez from Colombia in the second semi-final.
Now the crowd will not be as happy as they might have been. Both the Turkish athletes out, but they're fans of this sport and will certainly stay around. Is that the Sydney Opera House we saw there? But here we look back across that final quarter-final. Lopez looking very, very strong, very calm, very stable, and the consistency of shooting pretty good. And as Chef Vandenberg, my expert archer commentator, said, the height of the arrows really, really good.
Yeah.
She has progressed through to the semi-finals here in Samsun. So we move on quickly again as we prepare for the first semi-final. Linda Ochoa Anderson of Mexico against Marcella Tonioli of Italy. Here is a confirmation of our quarter-final results. Lopez going through at the top will face So of Korea, but coming up first it's Ochoa Anderson of Mexico and Tonioli of Italy. It won't be long before the athletes come out onto the field of play. In fact, there they are. Let's welcome them back here to Samsun.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the athletes to the field for the first compound women's semi-final match.
Bayanlar baylar, makaralı yay bayanlar yarı finalinin ilk maçında yarışacak sporcuları sahaya davet ediyoruz.
On target number 1, representing Mexico,
Bir numaralı hedef Meksika'dan
Linda Ochoa Anderson. On target number 2, her competitor, representing Italy,
rakibi 2 numaralı hedef İtalya'dan
Marcella Tonioli. The line judge for this match is
maçın çizgi hakemi
Alexandra Vecchio Passerini.
Anderson, you're shooting first, you're shooting second. Target 1 shooting first, range is clear. Start the match.
Well, just like that, we're straight on to the semi-finals here in Samsun at the 2018 Hyundai Archery World Cup final. It's Linda Ochoa Anderson of Mexico who will shoot first, and she goes up against Italy's Marcella Tonioli.
High 9.
So they've both been on the field right now, and I think their sights should have been set for this competition. The first match, you can see that a lot of archers went a bit to the left, but now that everybody's been on the field and know what's going on the field, I think they know what they had to do with their sight settings. And I think, but I'm not absolutely sure, that they're both coached by their husbands. So in the back you can see Steve Anderson, the American archer, and also the wife, or the husband of Linda Anderson.
How much does he enjoy wearing the Mexican uniform, given that he's one of the top American archers?
I don't think he minds that much. I think he enjoys going to Mexico as well.
Who wouldn't? Well, look, another great start here. It's Tonioli who's just edged the first end with a 1-point lead. Ochoa Anderson looked strong, though, in her first quarter-final. They've got, so in a way, they've kind of had a 15-hour dress rehearsal for this semi-final.
Yeah, you could say so, yeah.
Had a bit of practice.
It's a bit difficult maybe for the archers who didn't manage to win, but yeah, for them it was more of a practice round than anything else at this stage of the competition. Marcella's group is definitely tighter than Linda's group, but the one from Linda that's just out on the right might as well have been just in, and then they would have had a tight score. So there's nothing nothing too difficult to overcome happening yet.
Target 1 is shooting first. Range is clear. Shoot.
Well, trailing archer is Linda Ochoa Anderson, so she will shoot first in this second end.
Yes. Just like that. No X.
So, Chef, I mean, we've talked about the pressure that can be applied by the archer that shoots first, but here it looks like everyone who's shooting second is consistently dealing with that pressure.
Yeah, and I think that has to do with the fact that all of the archers that are here have showed that they're good enough to deal with pressure because they are at the World Cup final. So they're all world-class archers, and I think the pressure dealt by the first shooting archer is not as immense as it would be to somebody who isn't as experienced.
Perfect score so far, and a perfect 30 for Ochoa Anderson. Tonioli with the strange one-eye shot, one-eye closed shot, as we see here.
Yeah.
Quite unusual.
Yeah, it might be that she's left eye dominant. I'm not sure about that. But maybe she was thinking about it because you mentioned it. But it might be that she's left eye dominant, and that if she doesn't close her left eye, her scope jumps, like the sight of her scope jumps. So she closes it because of that, or it just means that she can focus better at her scope if she doesn't have both eyes open. I personally shoot with one eye shut because I cannot deal with the light around me, so I have to close one eye if I don't want to shed a lot of tears during shooting.
Well, different strokes for different folks, as they say.
Anderson is leading by 1 point. So, Tonioli, you're shooting first. You're shooting second.
But a swing around there in that end as Tonioli dropped 2 points
Target
on
2,
her last
shooting
arrow.
first. Range is clear. Shoot.
So the Italian will shoot first in the third end. Match has swung round in the favour of the Mexican.
So this is where Tonioli can really just put pressure, like we talked about before. If you make good shots, you will feel pressure as an opponent. Especially with this this cumulative score, where you shoot 15 arrows and count the scores all together. You have to be on point every arrow of the match. So we find ourselves in a situation now where Tonioli can shoot first and really lay it down, really shoot good arrows like this. And then Linda has to make sure that she matches it or she's trailing the match. So that's yeah, that's the situation we're in.
Anytime, strong ball on, strong execution. Plenty of time. Yes. Like that. E cattiva. Yes. No.
There's a lot of movement there.
But still gets a perfect score, and as you said, Chef, a chance to lay down the pressure, and she certainly
Same
has
shot,
done that.
nice and smooth. Smooth all the way through. Yes.
But dealt with perfectly by the 31-year-old Mexican. But the scores are level again. Just that single point dropped by the Mexican allowed Tognoli to draw level. Marvellously tattooed Italian is back on level terms. Tognoli shooting an absolutely perfect 30 there.
Yeah, and in this third shot, you see that there's a little bit more movement in their shirt and their arm. So, yeah, it might be pressure, or it might be that there was a little bit of wind and she had to adapt to that, which is, it costs more energy to shoot in wind than in a wind-still condition, because you can just do your shot.
Target 1 is shooting first. Range is clear. Shoot.
So Ochoa Anderson, with the scores level, will shoot first as she did in the first end. And it's her turn to apply the pressure first.
Just like those last couple. Smooth shots. Smooth execution on the release. Good bow on. Same thing. Yes. Like
You can
it.
hear the coaching in the background of Steve.
That's the
He's
one.
just reminding her of the stuff that she needs to do or needs to think about while shooting.
Yeah.
That went a bit off.
Same thing. Smooth shot. Strong on
Jeremy
each side.
Stevenson in the background there.
Yes.
And whatever he's saying is working very well in this fourth end. Tognoli, no time to recover from that 8, which was a bit of an unusual
Yes.
one.
Yeah.
No. Oh.
And it was hard for me to see a difference between the last arrow of the last end and this 8 that she just shot, because it was just as smooth.
Yes.
Well, perfect score for Ochoa Anderson in response to Tognoli's in the last end.
That looked good. Yeah.
Well, she needed it. The first arrow is subject to a measure here, as you can see by the asterisk. So at the moment, Ochoa Anderson is leading by 2, but we have to wait for confirmation.
You've got the shot now, though.
So
You got the shot
saw
going now.
Tognoli scoring a perfect 30 in the last end.
You want some water?
Here's Ochoa Anderson's response.
Those last 5.
Looking pretty determined there.
Yeah, killer.
But there's a smile on her face as she talks to her husband.
It's often hard not to smile when you're talking to
One
Steve.
more like that, and we'll do another one. Then we'll do another one. Just get one more in your head. One more. I'll tell you when to stop. Results are confirmed. Ochoa, you're leading 117, 116. Tognoli, you're shooting first. You're shooting second. Target 2 is shooting first. Range is clear. Shoot.
Well, as you can see, that 8 was marked up to a 9 for Tognoli, so she actually trailed by a single point here, but we flip things around again as the Italian will shoot first in the final end of the first semi-final.
And a very high level match so far. It's difficult to see from this angle, but it's being called a 9.
Nice and smooth, both sides.
You can see her left arm, Linda's left arm,
Good
is
bow arm.
overextending
Yes.
in the shot. So
It's a good shot, just high.
I'm guessing she's a bit hypermobile, and her way of pulling through the
Feeling good
functionality of
spot.
the release is bending her
One more of those good
left
ones.
arm even more, because it's in a really unnatural shape, if you ask me.
Yeah.
You're all right. You're all right.
Pressure starting to show here. A 9. Well, it opens the door. A 10 will do
shot.
it.
Plenty of
And a
time.
9 will see
Take
us
it nice
with our
and easy.
first
Good
tiebreaker.
relaxed shot. Just like you had before. Plenty
A
of
little bit
time.
more shaky than the previous ones.
Oh,
yes!
She's got the 10 she needed. And the theme continues here in the compound women's event that the archer shooting second is able to deal with the pressure laid down by her opponent. Marcella Tognoli, well, she
good match.
shot really well, as Chef was saying, but Linda Ochoa Anderson has taken it by a single point.
There you go. Now you're getting paid.
Which is just enough.
And the first finalist is Linda Ochoa Anderson.
I'll hang here and grab your arrows. Do you want to go back? Feel good about it? Well, hey, you got 2 matches.
Well, it was a brilliant match there, and a warm hug between the two opponents shows the respect these archers have. As we look back across Ochoa Anderson's victory here, the one-eyed shooter from Italy couldn't quite do enough, and look at that amazing tattoo on her elbow of the archery target.
She's a very dedicated archer, I think.
That looks really steady and calm. Sara Lopez looked very strong in her quarterfinal, but you got to say, Ochoa Anderson looks like she will be a very strong opponent in the gold medal match. We will, of course, see Tognoli again for bronze. So coming up very, very shortly will be the second semi-final. And that will be between So Chai-won and Sara Lopez. As we look at the bracket so far, a confirmation that Ochoa Anderson is through to the final. Tognoli will be in the bronze medal match. So Chai-won of Korea will go up against, well, the favourite, Sara Lopez, who has won this tournament before, back in 2014 and again in 2015. The big smile from her also took her to victory last year. The defending champion is up next. And there they are, waiting in the wings. The second semi-final of the compound women's event here in Samsun is about to get underway.
Please welcome the athletes to the field for the second compound women's semi-final match.
Bayanlar, baylar, makaralı yay bayanlar, yarı finalin ikinci maçında yarışacak sporcuları sahaya davet ediyoruz.
On target 1, representing Republic of Korea,
1 numaralı hedef, Kore'den
So Chai-won. On target number 2, representing Colombia,
rakibi 2 numaralı hedef, Kolombiya'dan
Sara Lopez. The line judge for this match is
maçın çizgi hakemi
Alexandre Vecchio Passerini. Target 2, shooting first, Sara Lopez.
Lopez, you're shooting first. So, you're shooting second. Target 2 shooting first. Range is clear. Begin the match.
Well, there we go. I think you all heard there. Sara Lopez, the number 1 seed for the tournament from Colombia, is on target 2. She will shoot first, and she goes up against Korea's So Chai-won. Great start from Lopez, qualified for the tournament by winning in Shanghai, followed that up with another win in Salt Lake City. So Chai-won qualified through ranking. Just drifting off to the right there.
I feel like this is a match between Sara, who is fueled by having a bit of a nerve like issue, not issue. She just has nerves, and she really goes with that, so she can fuel herself up with those. And then the Korean archer, So Chai-won, she seems like she doesn't have any nerves, and she's just doing what she's meant to do. She's just doing what she came here to do, shoot arrows in the middle.
Oh, perfect start from Lopez. And there is a, without meaning to sound sort of derogatory in any way, but what the Korean seems to have done is take away all the other factors and just keep it all very, very calm and almost robotic.
Yeah, and there's definitely something to say for that. But it also takes, in my humble opinion, it takes away a little bit from having fun and enjoying the moment.
Yeah, well, like, as we said, we keep saying time and time again, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah,
if you shoot better, as So Chai-won does with her sort of her style that doesn't show too much emotion, then that's going to get a better result.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
So Sara Lopez here, who's the favourite coming into this year, is the defending champion. Only did 2 tournaments in the season, won both of them.
Lopez is leading 30-28. So, you're shooting first, Lopez, you're shooting second. Target 1 is shooting first. Range is clear. Shoot.
So Chai-won will shoot first because she is trailing. She only did 2 events this season, ranked 6th for this tournament, and the 2 tournaments she did, Shanghai and Antalya, she got the bronze medal in, losing to Lopez in Shanghai in the semi-finals.
Very methodical. She just, every shot of her looks the same. Look at the size of that group. That's 4 arrows. That's probably within, I would say, 4 centimeters.
Very consistent from Lopez, but things are starting to look a little bit better for So Chai-won. Will go to a measure. That second arrow.
That's the first one out of the 10 ring for Sara Lopez, and perhaps even out of the X ring, I'm not sure. But still really impressive, and So Chai-won needs to shoot a 10 if she wants to. Yeah, she does.
Well, she does. The second arrow is going to go to a measure. I fancy that will get upgraded, so potentially a perfect 30 for the Korean. Well, a wobble, you might say. A 9. For Sara Lopez, corrected by the final arrow.
29 points for Sara Lopez. So 2 points lead at this stage, but we have to wait for the judge.
No. And target 1 has
Well, we've got a good view of the target judge there. Didn't quite hear what she said, but there we go, confirmation. As we suspected, that 9 from So has been marked up. So she does get the perfect 30, but still trails by a single point. And there she is. So you can see the second arrow was just on the 9-10 ring, and the third one was the best of the 3. She closed the gap by 1, and I think, Chef, if you look closely, you can see a bit of emotion in that face.
Yeah, maybe.
It's very subtle.
She has shot 4 10s in a row now, so. There's a bit of a difference in technique where the Korean archer shoots more like a recurve archer, and Sara Lopez is more hanging into the shot, as it seems. So hanging into the shot will help you shoot a little bit of a heavier mass weight on your bow and keep it stable. But if you want to have an aggressive shot, it's good to shoot like the Korean.
Well, what do you mean by hanging into the shot?
Yeah, hanging into the shot, I mean that you basically move your hips towards the target, so your shoulders are behind your hips if you look from the target's perspective. So you can see that it looks a bit more relaxed than the Korean style.
Well, perfect 10's been thrown out. They're going out of fashion here.
Yeah.
Another one from Lopez to counter So Chai-won's in the last end. And she's opened her lead up to 3 points. Well, we look at the arrows from Sara Lopez, just that 1-9.
There's just one arrow out of the group, and the rest of the group is incredibly small. It's, you have to keep in mind that they zoomed this in quite far. The 10 ring is only 8 centimeters, so I'm guessing the group is about 4 centimeters, except for the 9. And that's at 50 meters of distance.
Yeah, incredible accuracy and consistency.
And here it is, we see the last 3 arrows.
Target 1 is shooting first. Range is clear. Shoot.
So you can see that So Chai-won has sort of 2 stages in her draw. So she draws her bow back over the peak weight because the compound has it pretty much has wheels on the top and the bottom of the bow. And if you pull back, there's a peak weight, and then it drops away to about 1/3 of the weight, typically. And then you can hold it steady and hold it in that. The lighter weight. So she pulls it back against the stop, and then she anchors. So there's like 2 stages. Whereas with Sara, she pulls it back, and the anchor is like that. She immediately starts to anchor. It's similar, but it's not quite the same.
It seems to be more flowing with Lopez, whereas it's 2 very distinct actions with the Korean by the looks of things. Well, like I said, both athletes here throwing out the perfect scores.
Muy bien, muy bien, muy bien.
29 points, Sara Lopez, 118.
Well, here are 2 of the Korean male archers in the crowd looking on.
Yeah, number 1 and 2 ranked archers of the recurve men division. And they are watching now, and
they don't want to be seen, but they will be seen tomorrow afternoon. Top and bottom of the bracket for men's recurve. 2 very, very skilled archers looking on and supporting their very skilled teammate. So Chai-won has hit 2 perfect scores in this
116.
semi-final.
So you're shooting first. Lopez, you're shooting second. Target 1, shooting first. Range is clear. Shoot.
Well, we talked about the quality of the archery here in Samsun. It's been pretty spectacular. This one is no different.
no, definitely. Sara is leading by 2 points now, and she hasn't shot an end under 29. So this would have to be her first end under 29 if So Chai-won still wants to make anything out of this match.
Well, the final end is underway here, and it's a good start from the Korean.
And a good response from Sara Lopez.
Well, you can't ask for more from So Chai-won. She's hit 210 so far, but I'm not sure if a third 10 will be enough here. It is a third 10. It's a back-to-back perfect scores, but Sara Lopez only needs a 9 to win, and she nails it right down the middle. A perfect score from the Colombian #1 seed, and she wins the semi-final by 2 points. Remarkable shooting, Chef. Remarkable shooting.
I know that she has shot 150s before, but the group size on the 1310s that she shot 1310s. The group size on those is incredible.
Yeah, remarkable stuff. 150, of course, is the perfect score.
Congratulations for So Chai-won, that is now
in a whole match.
Fighting
it's just
for her
10s all the way through for your 15 arrows.
At the World Cup final.
140, well, 146 is pretty good.
Yeah,
that will
146.
win matches, but not against Sara Lopez here today in Samsun. And we look back across this spectacular match.
With a nice arrow twirl there. I know that some people practice it and damage a lot of points by dropping them on the concrete, but the question is, how much does it add to your shooting if you can twirl an arrow?
Well, if you enjoy the flair, and it seems to work for Lopez as we watch these beautiful slow motion replays of the arrows banging into the target.
Yeah, I would like to be the right side of the 10 ring right now.
Well, we will see so in the bronze medal match, but Sara Lopez moves on for the final. As I said, it won't be long before we do see the Korean again, as we are just waiting for the beginning of the bronze medal match here in the compound women's event. It's the finale of the season here, the first of 4 sessions, as we look back across those 2 semi-finals.
So as you can see, So Chai-won would have won every other match with 146.
Well, 146 might well have done it elsewhere, but it wasn't enough against Lopez. So Chai-won will move into the bronze medal match, which is coming up very shortly, and she'll face Marcella Tonioli. The athletes will be waiting in the wings already. There they are. So it's not going to be too long before they come out. The Korean coach looking pretty happy with things, and well, So Chai-won doesn't have long to recover from that loss. In fact, I think she's going to be coming out very shortly, and she will face Tonioli for the bronze here in Samsun. Our first medal is about to be decided.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the athletes to the field for the combat women's bronze medal match.
Bayanlar baylar, makaralı yer bayanlar bronz madalya maçını yarışacak sporcuları sahaya davet ediyoruz.
On target number 1, representing the Republic of Korea.
1 numaralı hedef, Kore'den
So Chai-won. On target number 2, representing Italy.
rakibi 2 numaralı hedef, İtalya'dan
Marcella Tonioli. The line judge for this match is
maçın çizgi hakemi
Alexandra Vecchio Passerini. Shooting first is target number 2.
Tonioli, you're shooting first, so you're shooting second. Target 2, shooting first. Range is clear. Start a match.
So Marcella Tonioli lost the first semi-final. Will shoot first here, up against So Chai-won of Korea. This is for the bronze medal.
Yes. No.
So there's a big difference in shooting styles in So Chai-won's and Marcella Tonioli's techniques. If you look at So Chai-won, she's really calm in her shooting, and it looks really controlled. Whereas it seems that Tonioli goes by feel a lot instead of by technique. So she's constantly sensing what she needs to do, and then when the shot goes off, it looks a bit more explosive, less contained. It's not better or worse, it's just different.
Yes. No.
She's found the middle.
Yeah, one high, one low. Final one straight down the middle. A 28 for the Italian. And it's a 28 for So Chai-won, so differing styles, but the same score after the first end here of the bronze medal match. And we're starting to see a little bit more emotion from So Chai-won, a little smile back at her coach. And that was the first arrow for the Korean.
Biggest results for So Chai-won were a third place at the
A good start for her, but in the end they ended up level. No real communication between coach and athlete there.
It looks like she would much rather have shot the match after this match.
Yeah, not happy, but they do have to recover from those semi-final defeats, both these athletes, because a bronze medal is not a bad reward
Shooting first.
at the end of the season.
Definitely.
Range is clear.
I'd love the trade.
Shoot.
There's a little bit of wind there.
Well, clearly it's played its part. A 7.
You could see that. You could see that her shirt was moving and the stabilizer was moving, and I'm guessing she wasn't mentally prepared for that little gust of wind and did something much quicker shot.
Long hold there as well, but it ends up as a 9. But Chef, it's fascinating when you start to look at these athletes shooting, you know, to the casual observer. It all looks the same. They just draw the arrow back and let it go. But I've just been looking. We talked about So. We'll see here as she has this sort of second movement there into a sort of holding position before she releases the arrow.
Yeah.
Tonioli also has an interesting. She sort of rolls onto her drawing hand.
Yeah, I think it's like I said before. So Chai-won really leans on her technique and on doing the same every single time. Where Marcella, she pulls back her bow and then everything needs to feel good, and it needs to, it just needs to connect. If the connection is good, she'll shoot well.
Well, here are all the arrows from the athletes, and you know what? I don't want to call this too early, but that 7 may be enough.
Yeah.
For So to have taken this match.
At 25 makes her trail by 4 points now, and 4 points is pretty difficult to overcome.
Well, certainly has been today, but you mentioned it. The wind has just started to pick up a little bit.
Yeah.
As we watch Tonioli releasing arrow, and that was the 7 that could well have opened the door. But yeah, going back to the wind, it looks like the wind has not only picked up a bit, but it's changed direction. It's coming from behind the archers now.
Yeah, and there's a small, I would say, corridor that the wind can come through. It might just hit the archers.
Well, N3 here of the bronze medal match in the compound women's event. And Tonioli shooting first.
Yes. Oh.
Not a bad shot. I think the worst arrow that So Chai-won has shot is only about a centimeter from the 10 ring. So she's doing really consistent shots right now. Another difference is the tension in their left hands. You can see that Marcella has her fingers all the way bent. And Chai-won just sort of leans her hand palm against the grip, and you see that her pinky finger is folding behind the grip, but the rest is all really relaxed, and the bow just jumps into her relaxed fingers.
Well, a perfect 30 from the Korean, who has this very, very solid technique. It's at 28 at the moment for Marcella Tonioli, but I fancy the measure may well take her up to a 29, but then she'll still be trailing by 5. And So Chai-won's shooting so well here, and look at that, very, very close to the middle, and the grouping for those two arrows, fantastic. Now yes, there is a bit of emotion from the Korean.
She seems to have loosened up a little, yeah.
Well, the agents are still down at the other end of the range as our lines judge, our fantastic line judge, looks on. He's officiated all of the matches here so far in session 1. And here we get confirmation
87-82.
that that 9 for Tonioli was marked up to a 10, but as I said, she still trails by 5 points.
Target 2 shooting first. Range is clear. Shoot.
Well, Tonioli trailing will shoot first in this 4th end, and she needs to shoot well and put the pressure on the Korean.
So I'd like to come back to that left hand again. You can see that Tonioli grabs her bow after the shot because she doesn't seem to be wearing a finger sling. So she catches her bow in the act of shooting. You can see that So Chai-won has a finger sling, so a piece of lace basically on her fingers that catches the bow when she shoots, so she doesn't have to put tension on her hand, so she can just, when she shoots, the bow can just freely jump forward and not have any interference with her fingers. And these are not bad shots, but if only they would have been maybe a centimeter closer to the middle, they would have hit the middle.
Well, the problem is she's up against So Chai-won, who's not making any mistakes. And I'm going to say, I was looking down at Tonioli from our position after she shot that second arrow, and it looked like she felt that she'd overcorrected left to right, and she wasn't happy with that. The last arrow will go for a measure as well.
Quite positive that hit the line.
But even if it did, So Chai-won gets a perfect 30 again, a second in a row for the Korean. She will open up her lead by a minimum of 2 points here.
She's drinking a lot. Maybe she's anticipating a doping control test.
Well, we're going to have a look at how the arrows have landed here for So Chai-won, and you've mentioned how good she's been.
The group is really good, and being less than a centimeter from the middle of the target is obviously really good. But yeah, the group is just good in general. She only has a couple 9s that are just out of the 10 ring, but nothing too severe. And I think she's comfortably just riding this final out.
Well, despite Tonioli getting that measure go in her favour, as Chef said, felt it was a 10. It was confirmed as a 10. And a 28 out of 30 is not bad, but she's up against this incredibly consistent Korean So Chai-won. Tonioli to shoot first. She's in a big hole.
She lets down, which you don't see very often, since there's only 20 seconds on the clock.
5, 4, 3.
So she had 4 seconds left to shoot that arrow. Much.
Wow.
You can definitely see that she knew the time limit won't bother the archers to do that. Shot wasn't going in the middle.
The thing is, she can afford to do that. She's got a 7-point lead coming into this. She did afford herself a little smile there, the Korean as well.
So like I said before, the time limit isn't really too difficult for the archers, but if something happens, it means that you really have to quicken your shot up. So in the event of your arrow falling off the rest and not being able to put it back on, or you really need to make sure that you can get it still.
Yeah, it's okay if it all goes right.
Yeah.
It's all been going right for So Chai-won here.
She needs to hit the target and then she wins.
And there she goes. That's possibly the very best arrow of the match. She saved it to last. So Chai-won from Korea has just taken the first medal here in Samsun, and she will be standing on the podium a little bit later on today with a bronze medal around her neck. Fantastic performance in that bronze medal final, and a great recovery after losing her semi-final. Marcella Tonioli, well, the 7 early on in the match probably played its part as we thought it might, but So Chai-won has taken bronze in Samsun.
Congratulations, those from Marcella Tonioli for 4th place.
Well, the athletes and coaches just disappearing off from the bronze medal. Congratulations from the 2 waiting in the wings, and it's Mexico's Sara Lopez and Ochoa Anderson waiting there as we look back on the brilliant performance of So Chai-won in that bronze medal match. She just got better and better.
Yeah. Seemed like she really grew into the match. And then that 7 of Tonioli sort of defied the rest of the match.
Yeah, so we will see So Chai-won a little bit later on the podium. A little error in that final, but the perfect finish for the Korean, and she's got bronze in the compound women's. So we move straight on, as we have done all morning. It's time for the gold medal match here in the compound women's event in Samsun. We look at how the athletes got to this stage, and it was a strong performance for Lopez in that semi-final against Sony. It needed to be a 148 out of a possible 150. Ochoa Anderson with a much closer one against Tonioli, winning by a point. So it's Lopez against Ochoa Anderson. Let's welcome them out for the gold medal match here in Samsun.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the athletes to the field for the compound women's big final of the day.
Bayanlar baylar, makaralı yay bayanlar, final maçında yarışacak sporcuları sahaya davet ediyoruz.
On target number 1, representing Colombia,
1 numaralı hedef, Kolombiya'dan
Sara Lopez. On target number 2, representing Mexico,
rakibi 2 numaralı hedef, Meksika'dan
Linda Ochoa Anderson. The line judge for this match is
Maçın çizgi hakemi
Alexander Vecchio Passerini.
Lopez, you're shooting first. Anderson, you're shooting second.
And make some noise, this is the final.
Target 1 shooting first. Range is clear. Start the match.
Well, here we go. Sara Lopez of Colombia, the #1 seed, going up against Linda Ochoa Anderson of Mexico, the 3rd seed here for the tournament, and it's Lopez to shoot first. This is for gold.
Here you go. Same as what we had before. Smooth shots, both sides. Good execution, good bow arm. Soft at 7. Here you go. Play your game. Smooth shots. Plenty of time on the clock. Just run them all the way through. Yes. Right on the edge.
The first 10 of this gold medal match from the Mexican.
So we've seen today that if Sara finds the 10, she generally doesn't miss very much anymore.
Well, 4 seconds on the clock there. Left for Ochoa Anderson. She just edges the first end.
Good shots.
Chef, this is a
Better
repeat
shots
of
each time.
the final in Salt Lake City earlier on this season.
It is, it is. But in Salt Lake City, there was very, very difficult winds to shoot in. I believe Sara did super impressive there. I think she shot a 140 something. Where, to put things in perspective, I think Ochoa shot a 123 or something. So that was really difficult wind. And
Lopez, you're shooting first.
It's going to be
You're
different over
shooting
here.
second.
Well, Lopez certainly came into the match.
Target 1 is shooting
The
first.
neutral's favourite.
Range is clear. Shoot.
And she's trailing after the first end here and will shoot first. And as we've seen throughout this session, the athlete that shoots first has tended to come out on top.
It's a bit of a bigger group than we've seen last match, but she might still tighten up a bit. But we talked to Steve, the coach of Linda, yesterday on the live stream, and he said that Linda is good enough to win this. She just doesn't realize it herself. So maybe with some good coaching of Steve, she can take it all the way. It's bound to be an interesting match at least.
Yes.
Wow. You called it, Chef. She's found the middle and she's staying right there. Good response from Linda Ochoa Anderson.
Yeah, she's not budging very much.
And both archers have eased their way into this.
The last two were a touch
and
below
level after
center.
2 ends as we look at a comparison of the arrows so far.
Yeah, pretty much the groups are pretty much exactly the same, just on the other end of the target. So I think there's not much between them at the moment.
And it's an interesting dynamic when you see in sport husband and wife combination, as we look at Colombian there and her perfect 30 in that second end. But Ochoa Anderson and her husband Steve Anderson, the American archer, it's interesting we see husband and wife together in any sport has, as a coach, athlete setup. But in archery, it's particularly interesting because you're so involved in the actual action.
Yeah. I think, if, for instance, in tennis, you're not allowed to communicate with your coach during the competition, but here you can actually tell them stuff and be close to your other half and make sure you're of use.
Well, Lopez did draw level in the second end, but she shot first in the first end. She'll shoot first here.
Same shot, smooth shot. Good bow arm.
Here, Steve Anderson in the background. There's a grimace there from Sara Anderson.
I'm impressed by her bow kondo she used there, because she corrected the shot to the left and it just hit outside of the 10, so it must have not been much that she corrected it. But it's a really, really smooth shot.
Same as what you had earlier.
So needs a 10 to stay on
everything slow down.
an even keel.
Smooth shot. Smooth execution, strong bow arm. Same thing.
That one possibly has dropped into the 9. A little bit of a forced smile there from the Mexican athlete.
Just off. Fast arrows don't hit. Take your time.
And as you can see, confirmation there that Sara Anderson now trails by a single point. I mean, the shooting, again, is very high quality, Chef.
Yeah, it is. And
still right there.
Well, it's to be expected from archers of this caliber, I think.
She's giving points here and there.
Interesting is that you saw the Colombian coach check the arrows of Sara Lopez. Normally you wouldn't need to do that, because the arrows get pulled out by your agent, and then the agent can check them while he's bringing them back. But now at the World Cup final, somebody else is pulling your arrows, so you want to check your arrows to see if they're damaged or to see if there's something different than when you shot them.
So Sara Anderson trailing will shoot first in the 4th end. This is the gold medal match here in the compound women's individual.
Smooth shot. Plenty of time.
That looked good. Yeah. Yes. You can see that she was moving a bit, and then it suddenly calmed down, and the movement started to go slower, and then the shot went off. So it was pretty clear that that shot was going to go either in the middle, or it would have been a really good shot that didn't go in the middle.
Smooth shot, strong bow arm.
Again, it looked like a little bit of a grimace there from Sara Anderson. Lopez looking exceptionally strong.
Most archers at this level know, like at the instant they release the arrow, if it's going to be a good one or not. So the grimace that you sometimes see in Linda Ochoa's is probably because she knows it's not going to hit the middle, and she knows that she's going to have to accept that and move on to the next arrow.
And Lopez on for a perfect score. Lopez gets a perfect score. She's only dropped 3 points so far in all 4 of the ends we've had, and she leads now by 2 points.
Well,
it's relentless pressure from the Colombian.
Yeah, let me check these real quick. All right,
so this is
score from
you just got to go one at a
Lopez.
time.
Looking very calm there for someone we described earlier as a nervy athlete. She looks very solid, and interesting high five there between coach and athlete.
Yeah, well, Sarah's holding a release, so you can't really high five without your release going somewhere.
So wouldn't you fist bump rather than...
Okay, 2 shooting first.
You could, but it's also, it might hurt to fist bump with a release in your hand. It's more like, you could almost say it's like brass knuckles. So would you fist bump somebody with brass knuckles?
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. But here we are, a chance for Linda Ochoa-Anderson to go for this.
Same thing you've had. Nice and patient, nice and smooth. Smooth execution. All in the execution. Yes. Left shaft in. It's all good. On to the next.
Well, you can hear Steve Anderson really trying to, I mean, it's as much about building and keeping confidence, but it's their first 9
Smooth
for
shot.
a while
Handle your own
from
business.
Lopez.
Smooth execution. Nice and patient. Stay patient.
It seemed a bit hasty. The shot seemed a bit hasty, a bit too quick.
Yeah, well, the door opened a little bit, and there's another 9. It's been marked as a 10, so it must be on the ring.
Put this one in.
This one has to be a 10.
Here we go. Same stuff. Nice and patient. Smooth shot. Yes.
Better stuff. Right, well, this is an important one because of the measure of the second arrow here. Marked as a 9 at the moment. And looks like that one's on the line as well. It's been marked as a 9 at the moment. It stands at 144 apiece, but 2 arrows from Lopez need to be measured, and she just needs one of them to be upgraded, and she will have taken the title, defended the title she won in 2017.
9.
Good shooting.
What is the judge telling us?
Good stuff.
Target.
144.
Good job, babe.
Great match.
144, 146.
Well, it sounds like Lopez has had both arrows marked up. The hug seems to give it away. We haven't had official confirmation. There's the 1 arrow going up to 10. There's the second arrow going up to 10. And Sara Lopez has indeed done it. She's got 146 out of a possible 150 in the gold medal match. And she is the champion in Samsun.
Again, we should say.
Yeah, she did it last year, and she's defended her title here. She came with the weight of the #1 seed on her shoulders, but by George, she carried that weight very well. What a match, Chef.
Yeah, incredible match, and well, yeah, I don't have much to say about it. Sara shot great, Linda shot great. There was just a slight difference in where the arrows hit, and yeah, Sara was the better archer today.
But what a way to finish as well, with 2 arrows not confirmed before the target judge had gone and measured them. And we look back. Ochoa-Anderson, well, she shot fantastically well. A 144 is not bad at all. But Sara Lopez looked nervy early on, but she went over the line, and she did it in style here in Samsun. She's the women's champion in the compound discipline here in Samsun. And we will be moving on from this, and we will see Lopez standing on top of the podium again. As we look, well, this is looking from behind the targets down the field of play. You can see a brilliant setup here in Samsun, and you can see those Turkish flags waving around. Conditions slightly changeable. We think maybe having a slight part to play in some of the arrows that are not scoring as highly as they have been.
I don't necessarily think it had anything to do with the wind catching the arrows, but more so that the archers got caught by the wind, and then the movement in the bow startled them and made them shoot a less good shot.
Well, this is the thing that you've always said, Chef, that if the wind is consistent, it can be dealt with. It's when it changes that there's a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we're just waiting for that medal ceremony, and the crowd has filled out here.
The athletes will be ready in a short while.
That's an indication that we're going to get the medals coming soon.
And the big achievement of these 3 archers.
When you look here across this, was it a port on the Black Sea, this town, Samsun? It's a few hundred kilometers away from the famous Istanbul. And it's a beautiful city of 500,000 people, and they really have taken to this. There's a lot of local people here in the crowd in Samsun. And they have been treated to some very, very high quality archery too. That's Sara Lopez. Well, she... I was going to say dominated the field, Chef. I thought Choa Anderson looked really strong as well. In fact, Sochi also looked strong early on, but came up against Lopez.
Yeah, they certainly didn't, like, they did give her a run for their money. She shot really well, but it didn't, like, she didn't do walkovers. The rest was also really, really good.
Yeah, well, the crowd aren't going anywhere at the moment. Of course, this is the first of 4 sessions, 2 today, 2 tomorrow. Coming up a little bit later on will be the men's individual compound quarterfinals right the way through. Rinse and repeat, as they say. And here we've got the final standings confirmed. Lopez with the gold medal. Choa Anderson will have to settle for silver. So Chai-won of Korea in the bronze medal position. The 2 Turkish athletes, well, the crowd were a little disappointed, both going out in the quarterfinals. Sophie Dodemont, also the number 2 seed, going out first thing. May have been a bit of a surprise, but she went out to Choa Anderson, who, as we've said, is shooting superbly. Looks like we are almost there with the athletes ready for the ceremony, so let's welcome them back out on to the field of play here in the beautiful city of Samsun.
Ladies and gentlemen, the victory ceremony for the compound women.
Bayanlar baylar, Makaralı Ay Bayan Ödül Töreni.
Trophy and checks will be presented by Samsun City Governor.
Kupa ve ödül çeklerini Samsun Valisi Osman Kaymak verecek.
The Longines watch will be presented by Longines International Advertising Manager.
Longines saati Longines Uluslararası Reklam Menajeri verecek.
Samuel Gela. Third place, representing the Republic of Korea.
Üçüncü, Kore'den
So Che-won. Second place, representing Mexico.
İkinci, Meksika'dan
Linda Ochoa Anderson. First place, representing Colombia.
ve birinci, Kolombiya'dan
Sara Lopez. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the national anthem of Colombia.
Bayanlar baylar, lütfen Kolombiya Ulusal Marşı için ayağa kalkalım.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause to our athletes.
Bayanlar baylar, sporcuları tebrik ediyor ve onları alkışlıyoruz.
Well, brilliant stuff there. Sara Lopez of Colombia could barely contain her emotions, and it's no real surprise that is the 4th time she's collected the Hyundai Archery World Cup season finale gold medal. Linda Ochoa Anderson of Mexico was confirmed as the silver medalist, and so Chai Wan of Korea, the bronze medalist. And here is the confirmation of the final standings of the 8 athletes here. Lopez collecting, as I said, her 4th World Cup crown here in Samsun, Turkey. It's been a superb session in the women's compound individual event. Chef, a highlight?
A highlight for me was definitely the match between Linda Ochoa and Sara Lopez, because it was just such a high level.
Yeah, perfect stuff. Well, look, that's not it for us today, but it is it for us in this session. The women's compound has been decided, but coming up at 3 o'clock will be the compound men's event. So thank you very much for joining us here for the first session in Samsun. Please do come back for the compound men's event, which is coming up in just a couple of hours' time.